Alex Carter wasn't new to danger. Years as a cargo pilot had taught him how to navigate asteroid fields, survive malfunctioning thrusters, and outwit space pirates. But nothing had prepared him for the cosmic storm that ripped his ship. Stellar. Apart above an uncharted desert planet. The storm came without warning, waves of energy cascading through space, scrambling systems, and frying his navigation console. Alarms blared as the ship spiraled out of control, the planet's gravity pulling it into a fiery descent. Alex fought the controls with everything he had. But the Stellar buckled under the strain, its frame shattering as it crashed onto the planet's surface. When Alex woke, it wasn't relief he felt, it was the burning heat of twin suns glaring down on him. His ship was gone, scattered across miles of sand. The wreckage was unrecognizable, and his emergency supplies were either destroyed or unreachable. Each step through the dunes was torture. The air was dry, the heat suffocating. His throat felt like sandpaper, and his vision blurred with the shimmering waves of heat. The faint hope that his distress beacon might still be active kept him moving. But deep down, he knew no one was coming. Collapsing onto the sand, Alex thought this was the end. His body felt like lead, his breath shallow. But then, the ground began to tremble, a rhythmic thudding that sent vibrations up his spine. An earthquake, he thought hazily, until the shadows loomed over him. Through half-closed eyes, Alex saw a shape, massive, towering, standing against the backdrop of the blazing suns. He blinked, trying to focus. It was no mirage. The figure stepped closer, and Alex's heart pounded. It was humanoid but unmistakably alien. Green skin that shimmered like polished jade, long black hair flowing down her back, and golden eyes that seemed to pierce through him. She was clad in armor that glinted in the sunlight, a long spear in her hand. "Am I hallucinating?" Alex croaked, his voice barely audible. The alien woman tilted her head, her expression unreadable. Then, with a single fluid motion, she crouched and reached for him. Alex braced himself, his mind racing with fears of what she might do. Was she a scavenger? A predator? Would she eat him alive? "Not like this," he muttered, his body too weak to resist as her enormous hand wrapped around him. When Alex woke again, he was no longer under the suns. Cool air brushed against his skin, and the sound of trickling water filled the air. He blinked, taking in the strange sight of crystalline formations glowing faintly in a cavernous shelter. Sitting nearby was the alien woman, her golden eyes fixed on him with curiosity. She held a container of water in her hand, offering it to him without a word. Alex hesitated, unsure if he should trust her. But his body had other ideas. Desperation won over caution as he drank greedily. "You saved me," he rasped, his voice hoarse. The woman didn't answer immediately. Instead, she smiled, a small, enigmatic curve of her lips that sent a chill down his spine. As Alex studied her, questions swirled in his mind. Who was she? Why had she helped him? And, most importantly, was he truly safe with her? Alex slowly regained consciousness, his senses muddled but gradually sharpening. The air was cooler, carrying the faint scent of minerals and moisture, an odd relief after the blistering heat of the desert. Crystalline walls arched overhead, glowing with a soft, pulsating light that seemed to respond to some unseen rhythm. He was lying on a makeshift bed, its surface surprisingly comfortable though made from materials he couldn't identify. The faint sound of water trickling somewhere in the distance caught his attention. And for a moment, he wondered if he was still dreaming. A shadow moved in the corner of his vision. His muscles tensed, and his instincts screamed at him to run. But his body was too weak to respond. "You're awake, low." Melodic voice spoke in perfect English, startling him. Alex turned his head and saw her, the towering alien woman who had pulled him from the desert. She was seated cross-legged a short distance away, her golden eyes observing him with a mixture of curiosity and amusement. Her armor, which had appeared imposing in the sunlight, now seemed less threatening under the cavern's gentle glow. You speak English?" Alex croaked, his voice barely above a whisper. She nodded, her lips curving into a faint smile. "My people are excellent linguists. We've studied Earth transmissions for decades." "You're Alex Carter?" "Correct. Your ship's registry identified you." Alex blinked in surprise. "You found my ship?" "Or what was left of it," she replied, her tone neutral but edged with subtle humor. "You're lucky to be alive. Most wouldn't survive long in Dracos Prime's desert." "Lucky?" Alex muttered, his voice dripping with irony. His gaze flickered to the container of water in her hand. "That for me?" Without hesitation, she handed it to him. "Drink slowly. Your body needs time to adjust." He didn't argue. The water was cool and refreshing, a stark contrast to the burning thirst that had haunted him. As he drank, he couldn't help but study her. Everything about her was alien yet oddly graceful, the emerald hue of her skin, the sharp angles of her cheekbones, the way her hair shimmered like liquid obsidian. "Why did you save me?" he asked cautiously, lowering the container. She tilted her head, her golden eyes narrowing slightly. "Should I have left you to die?" Alex hesitated, unsure how to respond. Her question carried no malice, only curiosity, but it reminded him of his precarious situation. He was utterly at her mercy. Over the next few hours, Alex learned bits and pieces about his enigmatic rescuer. Her name was Luna, and she was a warden of the wilds, a Solvay warrior tasked with monitoring and protecting the fragile ecosystems of Dracos Prime. "Your species has a tendency to disrupt," she said bluntly, her tone devoid of accusation but firm nonetheless. "I ensure balance is maintained." "Disrupt?" Alex echoed, frowning. "I wasn't even supposed to be here. My ship was thrown off course by that storm. Yet here you are." Luna replied, her voice softening. "And now you are my responsibility." Her words carried a weight Alex didn't fully understand. She explained that her people's exile system often involved assigning outcasts to remote, dangerous locations to serve penance. Luna had chosen this planet willingly, rejecting a life bound by arranged partnerships and rigid traditions. "What about you?" she asked, shifting her gaze to him. "Why are you so far from your own kind?" Alex hesitated, debating how much to reveal. "Cargo pilot," he said eventually. "Transporting rare artifacts. Mostly. The pay's decent. And it keeps me moving. A life without roots." Luna mused. "Something like that," Alex admitted, his voice tinged with regret. He shifted uncomfortably under her piercing gaze, feeling as though she could see through every layer of his being. Their tentative peace was interrupted by a sound, a faint hum that grew louder with each passing second. Luna's expression darkened, and she rose to her full height, her movements swift and deliberate. "What's that?" Alex asked, sitting up despite the lingering ache in his muscles. "A sandstorm," she said tersely. "A strong one." The hum turned into a roar as the storm slammed against the cave's entrance. Sand and debris battered the energy field Luna had erected, its protective barrier flickering under the onslaught. "We'll be safe here," she assured him, though her voice held a note of tension. Alex watched her closely as she reinforced the barrier, her every movement efficient and purposeful. Despite her imposing size, there was a grace to her that reminded him of a predator in its natural habitat. "You do this often?" he asked, trying to lighten the mood. "Survive," she replied with a faint smile. "Every day." As the storm raged outside, the two found themselves confined to the cave, their uneasy alliance growing into something resembling camaraderie. For the first time, Alex allowed himself to believe that maybe, just maybe, he had a chance of surviving this. The sandstorm continued for hours, trapping Alex and Luna within the crystalline cave. The howling winds and flickering energy barrier created an otherworldly ambience, amplifying the intimacy of their shared space. "What do you do out here?" Alex asked, breaking the silence as they sat by the faintly glowing pool in the cave's center. Luna glanced at him, her golden eyes reflecting the shimmering light. "I am a warden," she said simply, her voice carrying both pride and weariness. "I protect what is fragile. The balance of this planet is delicate, and it doesn't take much to disrupt it." Alex nodded slowly, sensing a deeper meaning in her words. "And you're doing that alone?" "I chose this exile," Luna replied, her tone resolute. "My people value strength, but they define it narrowly. I refuse to conform to their expectations. So I was sent here." Alex hesitated, his curiosity warring with caution. "Expectations like what?" She gave him a sidelong glance, a hint of a smile on her lips. "Choosing a mate based on political alliances, bearing offspring that fit their vision of perfection. They see me as a rebel, unfit to follow the path they set for me." "Sounds like you made the right call," Alex said, a trace of admiration in his voice. Luna's smile widened, but there was a flicker of vulnerability in her expression. "Perhaps. But solitude has its cost." Over the following days, Alex and Luna began to find common ground. She shared her knowledge of Draco's Prime's unique ecosystem, teaching him to identify edible plants and avoid venomous creatures. In return, Alex regaled her with tales of his travels across the galaxy, painting vivid pictures of bustling human colonies and the chaotic beauty of life among the stars. "Humans," Luna mused one evening as they shared a meal of roasted desert fruit. "Your kind spreads quickly. Bold, resourceful, and reckless. We don't like staying in one place." Alex admitted with a shrug. "Maybe it's curiosity. Maybe it's just stubbornness." "Curiosity," Luna repeated thoughtfully. "That much I understand. It's what led me to explore beyond my people's traditions." "But your kind stubbornness," she trailed off, her golden eyes narrowing playfully. "That remains to be seen." Alex chuckled. "You've met one human, Luna. Give us a chance to prove we're not all trouble." "Too late for that," she said with mock severity, but her tone was warm. One evening, as the sandstorm finally abated, Alex ventured to the cave entrance, marveling at the desert's transformation. The dunes shimmered under the twin moons, the landscape strangely serene after days of chaos. Luna joined him, her massive frame moving with a quiet grace that still amazed him. For a moment, they stood in silence, the alien sky stretching endlessly above them. "This place," Alex murmured. It's harsh, but beautiful. It is both. Luna agreed, her voice softer than usual. She glanced at him, her expression unreadable. Like many things in life, the weight of her gaze made Alex's chest tighten. He cleared his throat, trying to shake the sudden tension. You've done an incredible job surviving here on your own. I don't think I'd have lasted a day without you. Her smile was faint but genuine. You underestimate yourself. Alex Carter. You have more strength than you realize. Alex met her eyes, something unspoken passing between them. For the first time since his crash, he felt a flicker of something other than survival instinct, connection. As their conversations deepened, so did their mutual understanding. Luna revealed her fascination with human broadcasts, which she had studied for years while stationed on Draco's Prime. Your kind stories are strange, she said one night, her voice laced with curiosity. So full of contradictions. Strength and vulnerability. Hope and despair. It's compelling. Alex laughed softly. We're not exactly simple creatures. No, she agreed, her tone almost wistful. But there's something beautiful in that complexity. Their shared moments grew more frequent, the boundaries of their differences fading. When Alex stumbled over a rock one evening, Luna caught him effortlessly, her large hands cradling him as though he weighed nothing. Careful, she teased, setting him down gently. Your kind is fragile. Maybe, Alex replied, his voice steadied despite his flushed face. But we're resilient too. Her smile lingered, her golden eyes locking onto his. That I cannot deny. Their bond reached a new level during another desert storm. This time, the cave's energy barrier flickered dangerously, threatening to collapse. As Alex scrambled to help Luna repair the systems, he saw firsthand the delicate balance she maintained in her isolated life. You shouldn't have to do this alone, he said as they worked side by side. I've managed for years, Luna replied, though her voice lacked conviction. That doesn't mean you should have to, Alex pressed. Maybe strength isn't about doing everything by yourself. Maybe it's about finding someone who can help you carry the weight. Luna paused, her hand stilling as she looked at him. For a moment, the only sound was the storm raging outside. Then she smiled, a soft, almost shy expression that caught Alex off guard. Perhaps, she said quietly. The quiet routine Alex and Luna had built on Draco's Prime was disrupted one fateful morning. Luna had been acting strangely for days, distracted, restless. Alex noticed her lingering near the cave's crystalline pool, staring at her reflection as though searching for answers. Luna. Alex approached cautiously, his voice laced with concern. What's going on? You've been different lately. She turned to face him, her golden eyes conflicted. There's something you need to know, she said, her voice unusually soft. I believe I am carrying a child. Our child. Alex froze, the weight of her words crashing into him like a rogue wave. A child, he repeated, his mind racing. But how is that even possible? Luna's gaze didn't waver. The Solvay possess a unique adaptability in reproduction. It's rare, but not unprecedented for our biology to integrate with another species. Alex's thoughts spiraled. He struggled to process the implications, the sheer impossibility of what she was saying. You're telling me we created a hybrid? Luna nodded slowly, her expression serious. A life that is both yours and mine. This child is proof that our bond transcends the boundaries of biology. But it will also bring challenges. My people will not understand. And your people, they may fear what they cannot comprehend. Before Alex could fully process the revelation, their fragile peace was shattered by an ominous sound. A distant hum grew louder, distinct from the natural sounds of the desert. Luna stiffened, her spear in hand as she moved to the cave's entrance. "What is it?" Alex asked, following close behind. "A ship," she said tersely. "Solvay. They've come to investigate." The vessel descended with precision. Its sleek, angular design blending seamlessly with the alien landscape. As it landed, Alex's stomach churned. He had always imagined first contact with another species would be thrilling. But now, standing beside Luna, it felt like a threat. 3 Solvay warriors emerged from the ship, their towering frames clad in shimmering armor that glinted in the twin suns. At their center stood Commander Kestrel, a formidable figure whose piercing gaze landed on Luna. "Warden Luna," he said, his voice deep and authoritative. "Your exile has not gone unnoticed. And now, we find this." His golden eyes shifted to Alex, narrowing in suspicion. Luna stepped forward, her posture unwavering. "He is under my protection, Commander." "Protection?" Kestrel's tone dripped with disdain. "A human. This goes beyond protection. Luna, what have you done?" The tension between Luna and Kestrel was palpable. Alex felt like an intruder in a battle that wasn't his to fight. Yet he couldn't stand idly by. "He's not just a human," Luna said firmly, her voice carrying both authority and defiance. "He is my partner. And together, we've created something new, a life that bridges our worlds." Kestrel's expression darkened. "This union is an abomination. It defies everything the Solvay stand for." "Does it?" Alex interjected, surprising even himself with the strength in his voice. "Or does it challenge what you think you know? Your people value strength. Right. Well, it takes strength to embrace the unknown, to see potential instead of fear." Kestrel's gaze bore into Alex, his expression unreadable. For a moment, the desert wind was the only sound, carrying whispers of tension and uncertainty. The other Solvay warriors exchanged uneasy glances. Alex's words, though bold, had struck a chord. Luna seized the opportunity, stepping closer to Kestrel. "Our child is not an abomination," she said, her voice resolute. "They are a testament to what can be achieved when we break free from fear and tradition. The Solvay claim to be explorers, seekers of knowledge. What greater discovery is there than this?" Kestrel's expression softened, though his tone remained guarded. "You speak of harmony, Luna, but you defy the very laws that govern our society. Perhaps those laws need to change." Luna replied, her golden eyes blazing with conviction. "Our child is not a threat, they are a bridge. A symbol of what our species can achieve, and we embrace growth instead of clinging to outdated ideals." After a long, tense silence, Kestrel finally spoke. "The Council will demand an audience. They will not accept this lightly." Luna nodded. "Then we will face them together." Kestrel's gaze shifted to Alex. "Human, you have courage. But courage alone will not be enough to sway the Council." Alex straightened, meeting the commander's gaze without flinching. "Then it's a good thing we've got more than courage. We've got proof, living proof, that our worlds can coexist." The commander's lips twitched in what might have been the ghost of a smile. "We shall see." The capital city of the Solvay shone like a masterpiece carved from light itself. Towering spires of crystal and architecture seemed to defy gravity, their surfaces refracting the sunlight into dazzling rainbows. As the ship carrying Alex, Luna, and their hybrid child ASTRO descended toward the council chambers, Alex couldn't help but feel like an intruder in a realm that wasn't meant for him. Luna stood beside him, her spear in hand, her posture commanding despite the whispers that followed them. ASTRO, cradled in her arms, seemed unbothered by the tension, her golden eyes wide with curiosity as she gazed at the mesmerizing city. The council chamber was a vast amphitheater, filled with Solvay representatives, their expressions ranging from skepticism to open hostility. At the center sat Elder the Rose, the leader of the council, his presence exuding authority. Warden Luna, the Rose began, his voice deep and resonant. You stand before this council accused of defying our sacred traditions. Your actions have brought shame upon our people. And yet, they also present an enigma we cannot ignore. Luna met his gaze without flinching. I defy traditions that no longer serve us, she said firmly. Our people claim to seek knowledge, yet we fear what we do not understand. My union with Alex is not a threat, it is an opportunity. Theros's eyes shifted to Alex, who stepped forward despite the weight of 100 eyes upon him. I didn't come here to disrupt your way of life, Alex said, his voice steady. But Luna and I, we found something unexpected, something worth fighting for. This child, our child, proves that our species can create something extraordinary together. ASTRO, as if sensing the gravity of the moment, reached out a small hand, her jade-green fingers curling around Alex's. The gesture was simple but powerful, drawing murmurs from the assembly. The council's deliberations stretched into hours. The debates were heated, with some elders adamant that Luna's actions were a betrayal of Solvay values, while others saw the potential in embracing change. Finally, the Rose spoke. The Solvay have always prided themselves on their adaptability and strength. This child is a testament to those qualities, as well as the possibilities that arise when we step beyond our comfort zones. However, he added, his tone grave, this does not mean there will be no challenges. Fear and prejudice will not vanish overnight. Luna stepped forward, her voice resonating with conviction. Then let us lead by example. Let us show both Solvay and humanity that unity is not a weakness but a strength. The Rose regarded her for a long moment before nodding. Very well. The council recognizes your union and the child as a symbol of potential. But know this, Luna, your journey has only begun. Months later, Luna and Alex returned to Draco's Prime, their old cave now transformed into a thriving nexus of harmony. The once barren desert was now alive with activity. A collaborative effort between Solvay and human scientists, artists, and explorers. The nexus became a beacon of hope, attracting visitors from both species who came to learn, share, and build together. Luna, no longer exiled, took pride in guiding others, her strength and wisdom a source of inspiration. Alex, too, found his place, using his experiences to bridge the cultural divide and foster understanding. ASTRO, now a playful toddler with both her father's curiosity and her mother's commanding presence, was the living embodiment of what their union represented. She often wandered the crystalline fields near their home, her laughter echoing across the dunes. One evening, as the twin suns set, painting the sky in hues of amber and violet, Alex and Luna sat on a ledge overlooking the desert. ASTRO played nearby, her small hands manipulating a glowing crystal that responded to her touch. "Do you think we've done enough?" Alex asked, his gaze fixed on the horizon. Luna reached for his hand, her touch warm and reassuring. "Enough to begin," she said. "Change is never immediate, but we've planted the seeds. The rest will follow." Alex turned to her, a smile tugging at his lips. "You know, if someone had told me a year ago that I'd end up here with you, I'd have called them crazy. And if someone had told me I'd find a human worth keeping," Luna replied, her golden eyes sparkling with amusement, "I would have laughed." They shared a quiet laugh before their attention turned back to ASTRO, who ran toward them with a bright smile, her jade-green skin glowing softly in the twilight. "What's so funny?" she asked, tilting her head in a way only a curious child could. "Just thinking about how lucky we are," Alex said, lifting her into his arms. As the family watched the first stars appear in the darkening sky, a sense of peace settled over them. They knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but together, they were ready to face whatever challenges came their way. The story of Alex, Luna, and ASTRO spread across galaxies, becoming a symbol of what could be achieved when courage, love, and understanding triumphed over fear and tradition. Their journey wasn't just about survival, it was about thriving, about proving that even the most impossible barriers could be overcome. In the end, they didn't just change their worlds, they inspired an entire galaxy to dream of a future without limits.